Okay, so I'm editing right now and I'm realizing that I don't have an intro. So yeah, I went on vacation to Portugal, very much enjoyed it. So this video is gonna be like interchange of like me showing you like the vibes, taking you on vacation with me, and book reviews in between. There's 6 of them. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you with the first review. Okay, enjoy!
You in the backyard of your old farm in the summer. Stayed there for 3 weeks where we learned to love each other. Wrote you letters, sent you message to the captain. Skip to the present, haven't been so happy ever. Sitting in your room, working on my first record. Skip to the present, and I still haven't released it.
Okay, so first day is finished. You might hear some people in the background. It's because we just had like dinner. It's been mostly raining during the day, and yeah, not the greatest weather for vacation, but it is great weather to read books. So yeah, that I finished this morning is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, which I did enjoy. Sort of, I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. I will say though, like, it has to be like the themes that they discuss. It has to be your thing. Otherwise you're just gonna hate it. And I totally get people who do, because it's a very slow paced book with very long thought process of people, and like I'm personally like interested in the whole, like, not the who done it, but why done it. Like, why did he like murder this woman? And that's on the surface. Like, the main story follows Jericho, who is like a student, and he murders a woman, and that's like the beginning of the story. And then after that, you kind of follow his like thought process of like, why did he do it, and his whole ethical reasoning, and how does he deal with like these decisions. So it was kind of doable. It did take me like a good month and a half, 2 months to read. So yeah, it's not like the fastest paced book. It took me a while. I have to put it aside sometimes. But yeah, if you're like into like moral questioning and why do people do certain things, and you're not like opposed to like slow reads and kind of longer runs, then it could be really for you. If like that doesn't completely sound like your thing, then just like leave it. Like, I think that it's one of these books like you either enjoy due to those themes, and if those themes don't really appeal to you, like, I can totally see why people like just put it down and be like, just like DNF it. But yeah, I finished it this morning, and then I started reading Pure Color by Sheila and Heti, which I love. So yeah, I'll see you guys again tomorrow.
But there's a light on the surface of the path, water above me. I've been staring at that light, I've been staring for too long. But no matter how I try to comprehend it with my human mind, I'll never know what is on the other side. I'll never know what it's gonna take to be alright. There's a moment that I pause because you're thinking about me. There's a second that I wonder what you are would do without me.
Okay, so welcome to day 6. I've just been hiking around, so you can enjoy the views when I kind of want to have like a slight chat, because as you may have noticed, I have now been uploading a lot recently, and just kind of been struggling with like what type of videos I want to put out there. and how I want to like format them. I've made several videos in the past few months that just have never seen the light of day because I just ended up not liking them. So yeah, I'm just kind of searching on like what type of videos I want to do because I do really enjoy it and I love talking about books with you guys and everything, and I just felt like I don't really know how I want to, you know, have this channel, what kind of videos and how I want to share all of that with you. For anyone who watches this and is like, is Gaines job mode still happening? Yes, those videos are not going anywhere. The series isn't going anywhere. I'll be damned if I don't finish every page and just have some sort of a solution, so no worries on that front. On the other front, like other videos, I just want to pay more attention to like what I also do in a day and just keep it very centered on books. So also, if you like are waiting for reviews, it was so hard to find like a good space to record with sound and where I was kind of alone. Like seriously, there was none. So if you're almost there, I'm gonna leave you guys to it. I just wanted to like inform you a little bit about where we're standing. I'm gonna, now that I have a new format, I will probably, or more ideas of what I want, I'll probably start uploading a little bit more. But thank you so much for anyone who subscribed during the time and still, you know, comes back to watch videos. Like it does really mean a lot, and I just want to like thank you from the bottom of my heart. Just checking if I'm the only one. I am. So I just came back to Lisbon from Ericeira, where I had a lot of fun. Did some surfing. I got it. I like sprained my ankle in the first surf lesson, so I wasn't able to do it as much as I wanted to. But other than that, it was actually really good. So in that time, I finished 3 former books. I finished reading Black Swan by Babitz, which is like your hot girl summer, you know, nepotism sort of girl in LA who tells some of her life stories. I do feel like I should know like some of the names that she mentions. I have no idea, but it's kind of like where she tells a bunch of her stories from her life and how she experienced that, and most like her love life, which it's kind of interesting. I think if you're into like the whole insight into like LA and Hollywood and kind of behind the scenes and how life is there, I think that's very interesting. Then I read Love on the Brain, which, to be fair, it's like a kind of love hypothesis 2.0. Read it in one day, enjoyed it. I don't think as good as the love hypothesis, and I do honestly think there are better romance novels out there. But the story itself, you follow like the main girl who works in STEM, and she gets the job offer to lead like a really big team at NASA, but she has to co-lead it with like her arch nemesis. Lo and behold, enemies to lovers, they start liking each other, dating, and like the whole thing. I feel like it's basically, the setup is very similar to the love hypothesis. Yeah, I do feel like some of the maybe more slight problematic things that people picked out in Love Hypothesis she has discarded in Love on the Brain. Therefore, I do kind of like it more, as in, no, like everyone is consenting all the time, and also that there is no difference in their career stands at that point. As in like one doesn't have a higher function than the other. I do feel like it's kind of, yeah, I wasn't loving it. I think that it was my favorite romance of the year. Then I read Color by Sheila and Heti, which honestly the first half I was kind of here for it. It's like kind of like this philosophical novel. Kind of like literally follow this main person throughout her life, and some of them are very clear cut and make sense, but a lot of it's more philosophically written. I think the first half I was kind of here for it and I loved it. The second half I was, honestly, you're kind of confused as to what the state of the main person is, in the sense of I thought she had ended her life, And that's kind of how I started reading the book and how I started reading it. Turns out that wasn't the case. And it was kind of more that she was like, she was depressed and kind of cocooned into herself. And that's kind of like the wording. So I didn't hate it. I think that it can get a bit floaty, especially the second half, which there are great like quotes there and great prose, but it's not like very clear cut. So if like that, if you love like the more like very poetic and prose written and you want to kind of read a very different writing style, I highly recommend. If that's not for you, don't read this one because I think you'll be disappointed. And then I did a romance. No, I read another fantasy series. I started the first one, which is The Bitch Kingdom. I don't know how I got to it. I saw it on my like TBR and I was like, let's download it. It seems interesting enough. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, not the most likable main girl character. I love that. I think that she's allowed to be kind of mean, which I've always enjoyed. But basically the story is you have the main girl who is kind of brought up in the middle of the desert. Her kingdom, she's princess, and she is supposed to be married off to the prince of the neighboring country as like part of a peace treaty. Other kingdom that she's gonna be married into is called like the giant bridge that will help supply goods between like different nations. So they're very powerful, but like everyone wants the bridge. So there's a lot of war involved, and one of the main attackers is the kingdom that she's from. Because they are like, you don't bring us the goods that we need, we're starving, you take a lot of the profits, hence why we're having it really bad. And she's kind of brought up in the middle of nowhere, her and her sisters, to kind of trained and to assassinate the prince that they're supposed to marry. And she's been very into it, and then like you slowly follow her story of learning the truth and everything that was true and not true about everything, about what she knows about the peace treaty, about the countries, about the whole economic system, and how her and the prince are like slowly falling for each other. She is brought up as a spy, so a lot of things go down. And anyways, that's my semi-long check-in. Okay, so here's some more imagery videos from my last few days.
What's it like inside your mind, my dear? And do you find it terrifying then? You always let me know, you always let me go my way. You always let me know, you never let it show, my dear. My only friend to the end. What's it like inside your mind, my dear?
I arrived home last night, and I had finished 2 books yesterday. So I read the last few pages of A Town Called Solace by Mary Lawson. I think this is more of like a small town mystery contemporary novel that I think plays itself in the 80s, if I'm pretty sure it does, 80s, 90s. And this is like a genre that I don't necessarily read that much, but I feel like it's good to switch it up and to try new genres. And it does make me more interested in reading and incorporating this genre or these types of books more. Basically, the story, you place yourself in a town, Solace, as the title suggests, and you follow 3 characters mostly. So you follow Clara, which is like an 8-year-old girl, you have Liam, which is a man in his 30s, and then you have Elizabeth Orchard, which is like an elderly lady. Now, the main premise of the story is that like the older sister of Clara, goes missing. That's like one percent. So that's something that like Clara really deals with, and the fact that her next door neighbor, Elizabeth, or Miss Orchard, went to the hospital and hasn't come back. And at the beginning of the book, Liam moves into her home, and what you're trying to figure out is like how Liam and Miss Orchard are connected and what happened between their families. And then you also have Clara, who kind of is at this, like, she's an 8-year-old, so she's like really discovering the world and through a lot of more traumatic experiences that she's dealing with. It was so interesting. Like, what I thought was so well done is that every character has really its own thought pattern, their own way of viewing the world, and that's like in line with the age that they have and everything that they're going through. And that just what made this book so interesting. It's a very interesting read, and I think what I loved about this is that every character kind of is in its own life stage. So if Clara's an 8-year-old discovering that the world isn't black and white and that a lot of people are very gray, and she has to like learn how to deal with that and what that means for her and her view on the world. And you have Liam, who's in his 30s, who is kind of back on this like this self-discovery journey after he quit his job, and he's like getting divorced, and he's trying to figure out like who he is, but also what that means for his place in the world. And then you have Elizabeth, who is kind of at the end stages of her life, and she kind of looks back at what her life was and who she cared for the most and how all of those decisions made her into who she is. I think it's really good. I think it's also longlisted for the 2021 Booker Prize, which when I read this, I understand that it was longlisted, as in like it got listed and chosen for the list. So yeah, if all those things sound kind of interesting, go give this one a shot, because it was really great read. Then I also read a poetry bundle, which is Tradition by Jericho Brown. I saw it in like a bookstore a while ago. Wasn't very much of a book buying man, so I ended up not buying it at that time. I ended up buying an ebook version, but like I think this is one of those poetry books that makes me realize that I might actually really, really enjoy it. I just never thought I would be that person. And sometimes I come across poetry that I feel like are so well done, and I think Jericho Brown talks very much about his experience in life as an African-American man, and his experience of life and culture, and also how, in general sense, the experiences of an African-American. And in that sense, like what I think really makes for me great poetry, and what he really does really well, is that with just a few words, he can set a scene, create a world, and express exactly how it feels. Like, it drags you into like this small, like, short poems, really take you along, and that you can feel sometimes the anguish and the love and the frustration that comes with all of those things. And it was absolutely beautiful. So, highly recommend. So yeah, that was like kind of the end of my trip and all the books that I read. I think I read like 4 books in total and finished 2. So yeah, you can find all the books down below in the description as well. If you have any questions about stuff that you saw in the video about the trip, or books in general, whatever, or you have tips that like you think I should be reading, please let them know down below. And you know, it's like, comment, subscribe. It does really help with the algorithm. And yeah, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy reading!